Let me put it right here on Tiffany Ofili Porter's YouTube page. I believe the man is the catch. Full stop. Drop mic. Hey guys, Tiffany Ofili Porter here, where I discuss all things life after sport. And like I promised before, I have my handsome husband here for a part 2 to our video that we recorded earlier. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to attach it in the cards. Essentially, we gave our love story. And in that, we said we were going to do a part 2 of the conversation.
You said you were going to do a part 2.
We agreed. My powers of persuasion. We agreed that we were going to do a part 2 of the who's the prize or who's the catch conversation. And I don't know if you guys have been watching social media lately, but there was an interview with Simone Biles' husband, Jonathan Owens, and her about their relationship. Well, it was really actually a sports interview, but in it, they talked a little bit about their relationship, and there was some controversial comments that were made. We'll get into it. And we're going to play it here for you guys, and we'll catch you on the other side to talk about our opinions and just to kind of weigh in on this who's the prize conversation. You ready? Let's do it.
How in the hell did you pull Simone Biles?
Really, how she pulled me, man? That's the question.
Oh,
man.
Lord.
Simone Biles' husband, Jonathan Owens, says he's the catch in their relationship and admits when they first started dating, he had never heard of the 4-time Olympic gold medalist.
It's something you don't want to miss.
The newlyweds, who tied the knot back in April, recently sat down for a chat on the Pivot podcast and reflected on how they first met after Simone popped up on a dating app back in 2020.
Let me see who this is. Gymnastics. I ain't never, I never really paid attention to gymnastics, so it piqued my curiosity,
While it seems unlikely or even impossible that the Green Bay Packers safety had never heard of Simone, he tried his best to explain how the Olympic hero managed to fly under his radar.
When she won the Olympics, I was in college, and we didn't have NBC, we didn't have Olympic channels, and we're in camp. Late July, early August, so I'm not paying attention to, so I never would have had a moment to where I would have watched,
And the pro football player shared how he felt after she first messaged him.
I didn't know who she was at the time, but the first thing that I saw was that she just had a bunch of followers. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she got to be good.
Once they connected, Jonathan says things took off fast. Simone driving 45 minutes to visit him in Houston, and the rest is history.
I guess sharing it is just a part of my story.
So you was really the catch in...
I always say the men the catch, man. I always say we the catch, man.
Yeah, so she really booked you.
She did, though.
Is what you're saying.
Because I was fighting it. I was afraid to commit. But, like I said, man, it happened when you least expect it.
It wasn't until they started stepping out together that Jonathan realized just how famous and beloved his leading lady is.
There was all these moms, and, they're there with their kids, and we walked past, and everybody stopped and just... Kids are shaking, and it was oh my God, and I'm like.
To me, I'm just Simone, so I'm like, how do these people even know who I am? But it's also cool that they recognize the talent that Team USA brought.
Jonathan popped the question on Valentine's Day 2022, and the couple said "I do" in April in a private City Hall ceremony in Texas.
Stop, I can't. You guys can make me blush.
They later tied the knot for a second time in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico in May, in front of 144 guests, including their wedding party of 8 bridesmaids and 7 groomsmen. And in the months since, Simone has frequently been spotted giving her man a supportive kiss before his games.
Oh, love it. Let's do that.
After the podcast went live, Jonathan faced some backlash over his "the catch" comment.
So you was really the catch in...
I always say the men the catch, man. I always say we the catch, man.
Yeah, so she really booked you.
She did, though.
But he's seemingly sticking by it, subtly addressing the criticism with an IG post. Unbothered. Just know we locked in over here. And Simone, she slid into the comments to show her support, writing simply, "for life."
So Jeff Porter, who do you think is the catch in a relationship?
Why can't they both be a catch?
So that's your answer?
That's my answer.
Okay.
She slid into his DMs. She drove to see him, and she recognized that she this guy's probably a good guy. He didn't recognize I didn't recognize how famous she was. I think she's cute. I think she's probably an awesome person. And then I don't understand the controversy. I don't understand why they can't both be a catch. I don't understand what he said was wrong. Because I think the idea here is that women have been trained for a long, long time through music, through socialization, with that they are the catch, and that's fine. But why can't a dude be a catch?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because the idea is that women can be and can have any dude they want at any point in time.
Yes,
correct. But if a dude didn't have a level of self-confidence, why would a woman want to be with him in the first place?
Yeah.
I just that whole idea doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's probably why you and I mesh well together and why we've been married for so long, because I agree with you. Let me put it right here on Tiffany Ofili Porter's YouTube page. I believe the man is the catch. Full stop. Drop mic. And if that's controversial, then I don't know what to tell you. Let me just explain, not that really needs an explanation, but I don't even know where the narrative was that only a woman can be a catch. And I don't understand why a man being confident in himself and in what he brings to the table and what he can provide to a relationship and saying that I am a catch, why is that making people uncomfortable?
No,
I don't get it.
The idea that a woman is the prize is what we're talking about. And that's not wrong, right? You're my prize. But the problem is that there's two people in a relationship.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and so unless you're dating the person in the mirror, which if you want to do that, do you, right? Unless you want to do that, like there's got to be a two-way street here.
Yes, and if I'm trying to date you, I want you to propose to me, I want us to get married, why wouldn't I say that my man is a prize? Now I will say a good man is a prize. I mean, take that for what it's worth.
They didn't say every guy, but the guy that you're trying to court,
right?
The guy that you're trying to be in a relationship with, the guy that you're trying to build something with, I don't understand why that's a bad thing.
I would even venture to say, this might be a little controversial, that I feel like more married women would agree with that statement than single women. And let me explain kind of why I say that. As a married woman who's happily married and we've been building and working together, I 100% think that you're a prize. I thought you were a prize when I was 17 and you were 19 on the track team. I think you're a prize now at 38 and I'm 36. And I will continue to think that you're a prize. Otherwise, what am I doing here?
Well, that's a great perspective.
But I feel like a lot of single women just have this unrealistic expectation or just misconception that it's all about me. It's all about me. When you get into a marriage, you realize that it's about both of y'all. It's not only about you.
And that's the point, right? Is that when you're single, you can say whatever you want. Right? When you're single, you can say, well, listen, you gotta make me happy. If not, then I don't need to be with you. Until you get married and you realize, first off, your happiness is not predicated on someone else. That's challenge one. Challenge number two is that even if you're talking about, hey, like I'm this trophy wife, I'm this trophy person, then what happened about the person you're with?
Right. Just because a man is a prize does not mean that I'm not. Like, anybody that knows me knows I am an extremely confident woman.
That is true.
I know what I bring to the table. I am so strongly rooted in who I am and in my feminine energy. I feel like femininity is a superpower. We'll get into that later on in this conversation. But honestly, like, why me saying that my husband is a prize is not me belittling or dimming my light. Y'all, I got this. You know what I mean?
Listen, the fact is this guy is confident in himself. He's confident in saying, I know what I bring to the table. And not those direct words, but I'm confident in myself. Now, if he wasn't confident and married to Simone Biles, then everybody would have a problem.
Yes.
So he's confident in himself. If he wasn't confident, people would have a problem with that.
And when he is confident, you have a problem with it.
So what do you want him to do?
So my next question is, do you think he said anything wrong?
No.
In saying that I'm the catch?
What are you supposed to say? Think about it. What is he supposed to say? I'm an NFL player that I'm gonna drink the bathwater of Simone. Like, what are you supposed to say?
He can drink her bathwater and she can still be a prize, and so can he, guys.
Seriously, what are you really supposed to say? Like, nah.
I agree with you. He didn't say anything wrong.
He was asked a question. So you're the catch. Like, could he have answered this question with much more detail? Sure, he could. He's like, yeah, I believe the guy's the catch. Okay,
so you think maybe an explanation as to what he was trying to say may have been received better?
May have.
I was going to say you're.
But look at conversation. We're having a long conversation dialogue based on a question that he was asked. The answer he gave was, "Yeah, I believe men to catch."
Yeah. Let me also preface this by saying we are not here to insert ourselves into anybody's marriage. We do not move like that. What they have going on in their marriage is between them. If she's happy, if he's happy, God bless them. I hope their marriage is fruitful and enjoyable and all the
Listen,
things.
I can't wait to see Simone compete in Paris.
Listen, we wish them the best. So I'm not here to even, their marriage is not a point of discussion, and it shouldn't be for anybody, but particularly not on this channel. I'm just here to kind of give insight to this whole I'm the prize conversation that I think this might be useful for my single sisters and my married sisters and my brothers out there who sometimes I need a little bit of perspective shift.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. Guys don't typically sit around and think themselves as prizes. You know what I'm saying? Guys have for a long time been taught to go pursue the woman, go give the woman everything they had, go really court her, right? And that's what people are suggesting. The challenge you run into is like I said before, you're not dating yourself. And what happens if you don't boost this man up? What happens if he doesn't have confidence? What happens if he, has some challenges he's dealing with and you're not there to help him out, like, hey, make him feel like he's wanted or he's a catch or he's a prize? That doesn't work good for a relationship either. So either way on this, either side of the spectrum doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So pretty much the man's the prize, the woman's the prize, and let's just dead that conversation. Period. It's dumb. It's dead. 2024, we gonna move different, y'all. No more who's the prize conversation. Make yourself better to be the best version of yourself. Big up the person that you're with or the person that you're trying to pursue, and just be confident in that and support your partner.
I got nothing else to say to that. That's the fact that whole everyone has that opinion about it was absolutely nonsense.
Yeah. Okay, so Jeff, my next question to you is, how do you feel about Simone messaging him first on the dating app? Okay. But let me also, before I preface that, because I don't even know if you watched the whole thing. Sorry to cut you off. Let me just say, apparently they matched. They both swiped or whatever, and they matched. So they both kind of showed that initial interest. Because I think that's also a detail that's kind of lost on people. And then from that, I think she messaged him first.
Okay, let me.
From what I've seen in the podcast.
Okay, let me help you out. The fact that she was they both were on a dating app was nothing but short of like, okay, that's very interesting, right? So even going back to before, Simone Biles is a household name, right? Like everybody said.
Yeah.
Could she have any guy she wanted? But she was on a dating app, right? Because like, she's trying to find what she's looking for.
Right.
So even then, she's like, okay, she recognizes that even like being out in the public is a challenge for her. So she's trying to find someone, which is admirable.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
But the fact that they're on app is really interesting. So they match. Okay, cool. And then she took the first step. She's like, yo, I'm not gonna let this go. I'm not gonna let this opportunity go past me by. I'm gonna just shoot him a note. Like, yo, let's get together.
Yeah. I guess my question is, apparently some of the comments, people had a problem with her messaging him first, saying, oh, she was emasculating him. Okay, she was the one pursuing him.
Let me help you out. Back in the 90s, back in the 1900s, right? R&B singers, both men's and women's. There are a couple songs out there where a woman would tell you, look, I seen that guy. I'm gonna go get that guy. And that was a mindset too, but now the mindset has shifted where, he should have messaged her. Well, she took the first step and said, no, I want to message him. What's the problem?
Listen, over here in these parts of the YouTube streets, I do not think that he should have messaged her versus she should have messaged him. They matched. She took the initiative. Hey, what's up? She even said, I see what I like. I know what I like, and I go for it. They hit it off. You know what I mean?
And she drove to see him.
And he has to propose to you. He has to make you his wife. You can't she may have messaged you first, but he chose her. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's this weird dynamic.
I mean, you talked to me first.
Did I?
Yeah.
I talked to you first?
And you hit me at the friend request on Facebook.
Okay, touche. This Facebook conversation. If y'all haven't seen the first video, go watch the first video on how we met.
So you about to say you same principle. So you try to holler at your boy first.
And here we go, y'all. 18 years later, sis, shoot your shot, go get your man. And there's wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, if he doesn't want it, he's gonna say no, and you can keep it moving. I do believe that there's something to be said in a woman being very targeted and specific in what she wants. There's no need to play games. There's no need to beat around the bush. Now, I mean, I'm not sitting over here encouraging women to go and propose to men or do any of that stuff. Completely different conversation for another day. But I do think there is something beautiful in saying, this is what I want, and I'm unapologetic about it. They must have hit it off, and he wiped her up very shortly thereafter. So from a man's perspective, Jeffrey Porter, do you feel like she emasculated this man, or that she went into her masculine energy?
I don't know any of that conversation that even is really making me mad right now. But No, I think she took the initiative to say, "Hey, how you doing? Like, I'd love to talk to you." He was like, "You know what? For sure, let's connect."
Yeah, and here they are now.
You do the same thing.
You keep on bringing that up. I sent you a friend request on Facebook, but hey, like I said, I got my ring, so I ain't even tripping.
Let's go. Accept.
So another thing I do want to touch on, because there's been a lot of pushback saying that no, Simone is the prize. And honestly, I mean, she's an amazing woman, I'm sure. I don't know her personally, even though I do have a photo of her from the Olympics. Let me see if I can go and find that. I might insert her
I got
right
one
here.
too. We was at the White House together with the 44th president.
There you go. But anyway, I digress. The conversation about, oh, she's the prize. I think people automatically assume if you have visibility, success, popularity, money, attractiveness, all of these, I guess, external factors, that somehow is immediately indicative of you being a good spouse. How do you feel about that conversation?
There's some very successful, very rich, very pretty people out there.
Yeah.
Who are really have a hard time keeping a spouse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
They really have a hard time keeping a partner, a companion, because of not the fact that they're beautiful, not the fact that they're successful, not the fact that they have money, not the fact they have all the assets you could ever want. That's not the issue. That's not the issue at hand. So what is it? The issue is there's some other parts to being a companion.
There are a lot of other parts to being a companion. I also do believe there's no user manual for marriage, and there's no one size fits all, because what might work for my marriage
I go to page 12A,
might not work for his marriage or her marriage. So I do want to say that. But at the same time, I do think there are certain attributes that are almost just kind of like universal as to what makes a good wife or what makes a good husband. And just to think because somebody's pretty, they're going to automatically be a good wife? No. And to think just because a man is attractive or he's a fantastic football player or a fantastic track athlete in my case, and he's automatically going to be a good husband? No. It takes work. It takes a certain level of commitment, and sacrifice is kind of a weird term, whatever, but you have to work to be a good spouse.
When you're talking about all the accolades, all the things that people really gravitate towards as a barometer, whether or not they're going to be a good companion, then you are savage.
Right now, the stage that I am in my life, I am sitting in my divine feminine energy. And Justin's like, what the heck are you talking about? Let me explain what I mean by that.
This is why I can't stand social media. Divine feminine energy.
Yes, and my husband, whether he knows the vernacular or not, is really very strongly rooted in his masculine energy. So what does that look like?
What does that mean?
Okay, so here are some traits that are traditionally considered to be feminine, and we can talk about that, and then we'll move to what are some traits that are traditionally considered to be masculine, and kind of where we are kind of in our marriage and like what has worked for us. You want to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. So I actually took some notes because I didn't want to miss them, but for the most part, here is what feminine traits traditionally are considered to be. Ready? So being a good nurturer, supportive, gentle, warm, cooperative, tender, helpful, devoted, understanding. Okay. And we'll talk about the masculine traits shortly. But I think there's almost been, I don't know, I believe there might be a little bit of an attack on femininity and masculinity. And not even in an effort to be controversial here, let me kind of explain what I mean by that. I think a lot of times women don't realize how much power we have. And
I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't agree with what?
That women don't understand the power that they have. And here's why. Again, going back to society. Society says, who run the world?
Girls.
Right? And so the idea that I think what you're trying to get to is something a bit different, right? I think the idea...
okay, go ahead, finish your point. I'm gonna touch on that because...
Because women been taught like that they... And this is more of a recent occurrence, right? History is a lot different, right? And I get that. Well, kind of where we are right now, trying to have women embrace their femininity, embrace their womanhood, and utilize womanhood to climb the ladder of success and break glass ceilings. And I'm with all that. I'm not even debating that.
We're talking about two different things right here.
My point is like the idea that what you just said, like women right now, women are starting to and have been realizing that yes, they run the world. I don't understand.
Okay, but then songs also say it's a man's world.
That was back in the 19.
No, but it's a thing, babe. Come on, we're not going to even sit over here and talk about the patriarchy. We're not going to have that conversation. The point I'm trying to make is, you actually mentioned it. Women talking about being a boss and climbing the corporate ladder and all these things that are amazing. Listen, I'm an ambitious woman. Okay, like I am that, but at the same time, I'm in a space right now where I'm just pushing back on that narrative a little bit, because I think feminism, again, different conversation, has really taught us that we want to be equal as men. We want to be men. We want to almost like replace men. And if that's what feminism is, I am not a feminist. And I know that's not what feminism is, but I think that's a narrative that is being pushed where it's like, you need to be in your masculine energy, or you need to be working 80 hours a week, or doing all these things that are traditionally men roles. Again, I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just giving you guys our perspective in order to be deemed as worthy, versus a woman who's like, absolutely not. I'm trying to have a soft life. I did not come here to suffer. I want to nurture my babies. I want to clean my house. I want to decorate my house. I want to have peace and harmony. I want to be gentle and warm and cooperative and, dare I say, submissive. Different conversation for a different day. And I think this might become a series, but anyway, that's the point. I think a lot of time, drop in the comments below if you want to see Jeff on this page more.
I guarantee you'll be like, nah.
Listen, so far, my last video with you has been my best performing video.
They were like, nah.
But the point I'm trying to make is there is so much power in being a woman and embracing that femininity and not feeling like you have to compete with a man or you have to be a man in order to somehow be deemed as worthy. That is like just the point I'm trying to make. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
I think that's a very fair point, right? You can be you should be able to be a woman and be CEO and be a mother and be a wife and do all these things that you want to do. I don't think that's mutually exclusive. I think you can do those things. I don't understand. Again, maybe in my own world and how I see the world, I don't understand why these are real major issues, right? Because you don't have, like, a woman, a female CEO, they can run the show and run the ship as they want to and continue to have a life. I've seen it done before.
And seen it done successfully. I guess the point that I'm trying to make, okay, let me just kind of give it a little bit of a backstory. So right now, former world-class athlete, I'm a pharmacist, all these other things that I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. If you haven't seen those videos, go check them out. But right now in this stage of my life, we just had, our son is 8 months old. I said, you know what, right now, I want to stay at home and care for my child. And that is going to be my full-time focus right now in this season. Yep. We agreed to it. I won't say it was a thing that we mutually agreed to.
I supported it. It wasn't my decision to make, right? It was our decision, and you felt strong that you want to do it. And I said, okay.
Yes. And I think that some people might look like, but Tiff, like, this is not like you. Like, you're so ambitious. And I said, yes, I am. And who knows, 2-3 years from now, I might have a different opinion. But right now, I am 100% very confidently standing in that and just embracing that, because I know that I won't be able to get these years back, these months back. Now, I'm not judging my sisters who are out there working, because again, that is all part of just standing firm on what works for you in your marriage. But as for me and my household right now, this is where we are. So I just think that some women almost feel like their worth is diminished if they want to take that slower approach, or they want to focus on home. And some people are even embarrassed to say that they're a stay-at-home wife. Baby, I am a stay-at-home mom right now. I mean, I guess I should say work from home mom, because I do create content. I do other stuff, and I still do work in the pharmacy once every month or 2 months. Anyway, let's stay on track here. The point I'm trying to make is there are characteristics that are traditionally feminine, and those need to be celebrated, and it's okay to be very secure in that.
I don't disagree.
And with that, let's chat about what those traditional masculine traits are, and tell me if you agree with them, or if you feel as though being in that masculine energy is something that has helped you in our marriage.
Well, the masculine traits are strength, courage, independence, leadership, and assertiveness, right?
Yes.
Those are all things that men are trained to do from a very early age. Especially, men raised in single parent households, whether single mother, single father, either one, you had to step into roles that you necessarily weren't ready for. In my life, I had I had the privilege to have both parents up until college, where I lost one, and you had to step into other roles, and so that's what you're trained as. Like that's what my father trained me on is you have to be the head of the house. You have to have the strength. You can't have a bad day. Like you can't take a knee. You can't take a break. You can't everything depends on you. So that's what I've been trained on. And to some extent, that hasn't been really helpful in our marriage some days because now it's like, hey, you need to take a break. Well, I can't because X, Y, and Z needs to happen, right? And that's part of relying on the partner, relying on your companion, relying on the family dynamic to help lift it. Because again, the thing that people don't understand is that men are human beings, right? And men need to understand we're human beings because we haven't been trained as such, right? We've been trained as machines. Like January is Men's Mental Health Month, and no one really cares about men's mental health.
I care about men's mental health. Don't say no one, but I know what you
generally
mean.
speaking, no one really cares, right?
Yeah.
Because your job is to go out and make the money because you have seen this. This is what has been perpetuated in society, and this is what it is, right? A man's man. That's what everybody wants. A man's man.
So I guess what I heard you say is you're extremely hardworking, which he's always been that way. You have certain qualities that nobody can take away from you. Nobody will ever on this earth say that Jeff Porter is not a hard worker. So that's not a bad thing, though. Obviously, you have to have a balance. You can't be going go to the point where it's taken away from
but men have been trained that way.
Yeah.
Like when I was going to get my PhD, how many times I probably slept, and I told people this, I probably slept 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
For 4 years.
And this man loves his sleep, y'all. I was there shooting with you in the gym. I remember.
Right? And so we've been trained on that. And so how long can you keep that up? Because the family needs you. Like these qualities have been ingrained in men, right? We've been trained on this. Are they always helpful? No, they're not always helpful.
Okay, so what you're saying is that it's important to stand in them, but just not overdo it? Because it almost sounds as if you're saying they're all negative traits.
No, they're not all negative traits. What I'm saying is they can be useful, but what happens is we go so hard, so long, so far on just these traits. You never had a chance to chill. You never had a chance to really, figure out how to be a husband. Men aren't trained on how to be a husband.
Yeah.
You figure that out on the job.
Literally. Like, okay, sign the paper. Oh, wait, we really doing this thing. All right, let's do it.
And marriage counseling is very, very big, very
huge. Big. Pause. Go to premarital counseling before you get married. It will be helpful. Period.
And so what I'm saying is all those traits are great when you're single and great when you're on the grind, but aren't always great when it's time to be in a relationship with somebody else.
Well, I think that's also why you have a supportive spouse that will say, you've been going a little hard. Let's reel in it a little bit. Let's go on a vacation. Let's relax. Can you close your laptop? Let's go to sleep.
How dare you?
Oh, I'll make you close your laptop.
Close your laptop. Well, the laptop may close, like email coming to the phone, ready to go. Whatever tells men how to be a husband.
I mean, but that goes for women too.
Right.
But no, you're right.
Well, women are and historically have been more trained on that. My grandmother growing up, she was like, listen, if you want to keep a man, she would tell to my aunties now, you do X, Y, and Z. So there's more training on that. My father, grandfather, uncles have never said how you be a good husband.
That's a very interesting conversation. Obviously, I'm not a man. And I guess I can kind of see my mom is extremely traditional in a lot of those gender roles. So she definitely would always kind of, sprinkle it in over there. I learned how to cook from a very early age. She taught me how to sew, just clean, keep a house. So I guess in that regard, you kind of do have a point. Yeah, I can see why you would say that. And I'm going to teach that to my daughter too, and my son. And you have an alpha male, so a man who is very dominant and confident and assertive and a good leader and all of those things. And he knows what he brings to the table. And you have a woman who is about to be an amazing nurturer. She's supportive, she's helpful, she's compassionate. She's all of these feminine traits, and they come together. It just, at least in our experience, I can't speak for everybody because again, everybody's marriage is different. I do feel as though it just brings a lot of harmony.
I agree there.
It's almost like yin and yang. I think masculine and feminine energy.
What you know about yin and yang?
Oh my goodness. I definitely.
Eastern science. Look at her. What are you doing?
Ain't no Eastern science. I believe in Jesus. I don't know what you're talking about. But just that give and take, I think that it flows more freely when you have just two things that complement each other. Because if I'm coming at you being over, just in my masculine, and I hate when people say that because it's like, what does that mean? If I'm coming at you and I'm at work having to be a CEO, having to run the pharmacy or run the corporation or whatever the case may be, and I'm always having to be combative and assertive and just, you know, flexing, if you will, on my colleagues or the people who I'm leading, and then I bring that energy home, you're gonna be like, yo, Tiff,
But, you
chill.
can take that back to the pharmacy if you want.
That's what I'm saying. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult to code switch or to take that off. And it's like, just when you're at home, it's okay to let loose and be soft and just be inviting and let your man lead. It's work. It's work to lead, y'all. Like, don't you want him to take charge? And again, it's very easy to follow a good leader. So men, be good leaders. A woman will be more inclined to submit to you if she has something to submit to.
That's a good point.
Mic drop.
Well, I appreciate all the conversation and everybody's perspective, but I'll tell you, like, I live in a world of my own creation. I will tell you, this whole thing don't make no sense.
No, honestly, yeah. The fact that somebody's saying that I'm a catch is controversial is a little wild to me, but it does make for good conversation. That is it with this conversation. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of Jeff Porter. We can make this a series.
Man, listen, they don't want to see me.
They definitely do want to see you. But yes, guys, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Share this conversation with somebody that you think might find it interesting. And I appreciate you being here. Jeff, you want to say anything?
Talk to you later.
Until next time, guys. Peace.